President, the Education Bureau EDB canceled the registration of a primary school teacher and issued reprimand letters or warning letters to the principal, vice principal, and relevant teachers of the school in which that teacher worked. Quite a number of the members of the public have queried such a move by EDB carried a political purpose. Also, some members of the public and bodies of the education sector have criticized the complaint handling mechanism as tantamount to a black box operation. In this connection, will the government inform this council, 1, regarding the following 2 time periods, i.e. from January 2015 to May 2019, and from June 2019, when the movement of opposition to the proposed legislative amendments started to the present, the respective number of cases in which the schools concerned, after investigating into the complaints against the teachers, had concluded that it was unnecessary to take disciplinary actions, but EDB subsequently took disciplinary actions against the teacher concerned. 2, who first devised the mechanism currently in use for handling the mechanism against teachers. Please enclose the relevant documents of the reasons why. And this mechanism, not until the appeals board stage is the complainant given an opportunity to attend a hearing and make an oral representation. How to EDB ensure that under such circumstances the complainant is treated fairly and impartially before his or her teacher registration is cancelled? And 3, given that the principal, vice principal, and relevant teachers of the primary school concerned have also been disciplined, whether such practice of collective punishment is applicable to for all type of cases, if not, of the circumstances under which the school management and other teachers will be implicated. Education for Secretary. President, teachers play a vital role in passing on knowledge and nurturing student character. Their words and deeds should meet the professional conduct required of them and the expectations of society. According to the Education Ordinance, the Education Bureau EDB is the authority for registration of teachers, hence the responsibility to ensure the quality of teachers. The EDB may cancel registration of a teacher in accordance with the Education Ordinance if he or she is not a fit or proper person or is incompetent to be a teacher, so as to safeguard the well-being of students, uphold the professional student of teachers, and maintain public confidence in education in Hong Kong. In September this year, the EDB canceled the registration of a teacher for the serious professional misconduct of disseminating the message of Hong Kong independence in class. I wish to stress that the EDB decision was based on concrete evidence and action taken was in accordance with the law. We explained the matter to the public on various occasions and we're not going to repeat them here. While it's appreciated that society had different views on the matter, we deeply regret that there is organization which has not considered the matter from the perspective of the education profession and the well-being of the students, but has also kept politicizing the issue. There are more citizens and organizations in support of this bureau to strictly enforce the law for upholding the professionalism of teachers and safeguarding the well-being of students. We will definitely continue to act in accordance with the law. I'll reply to the question raised by Honorable Yu Kenyun as follows. 1. Schools as employees of teachers have the responsibility to supervise the teachers, which include handling complaints against them. If the teacher is found to have committed an act of professional misconduct or misbehaved, schools should, in compliance with the Education Ordinance, the Code of Aid, and the terms of employment contract signed with the teachers concerned, take appropriate follow-up actions according to school-based mechanism. The EDB responsible for the registration of teachers. If the teacher is found to have committed an act of professional misconduct or misbehave, we have the responsibility to take appropriate action according to the law to safeguard student well-being, uphold the dignity of the teaching profession, and maintain the public confidence in the teaching profession. It also does justice to all the teachers who are professional and dedicated. When considering the follow-up action to be taken, the EDB will focus on whether the act in question conform to the professional conduct required of the teacher, whether the teacher concerned has fallen short of the society expectations, and whether the values so demonstrated will have an adverse impact on the education profession or students. We will also fully consider all the information collected on all the relevant factors, including the school report, the representation of teachers, the existing legislation, the EDB guidelines, as well as the vision, goals, and aims of the curriculum, to review whether the learning student is promoted in a proper manner in accordance with the education ordinance by the school and teacher concerned. The EDB, in light of severity of the incident, take appropriate actions such as issuing advisory, warning, or reprimand letter to the teachers concerned, or may even cancel his or her teacher's registration. Given that the EDB and schools have different responsibilities and their considerations might not be the same, the follow-up actions taken by the two parties cannot be compared directly. As a matter of fact, we often receive complaints and query individual school management of the teachers, and quite a number of these cases were referred by the teachers' union, in which the Honorable Yu Kenyun played a leading role. requesting EDB to take follow-up action. I trust the general public will not accept it if the EDB only considered the school reports without conducting independent investigation. It's not rare that the EDB does not fully agree with the views of the school management. As such, the EDB considered it unnecessary to compile, and it has not compiled the statistics on such situations. The EDB has a clear mechanism with well-defined procedures for handling cases of suspected professional misconduct, which we have elucidated through different channels. I state in my reply to a written question raised by Honorable Yip 2 weeks ago, 28th of October, and enforcing the provisions regarding refusing or canceling registration under the Education Ordinance, the Permanent Secretary of Education has set up an internal task force comprising of the EDB directed officers to review all cases in which they involve the registration of teachers starting from 2003. In just the internal task force of EDB reviewed all cases that may involve teacher registration. Upon receiving a complaint against the teachers, the EDB will request the school conduct an investigation. The school would normally inform the teachers concerned about the complaint and let him or her give explanation. The school will also meet with other people concerned, such as other teachers and students, and as necessary, and then submit the report to EDB. Upon receipt of the school report, will examine its content carefully and request the school to submit supplementary information as appropriate. For cases that are likely to be substantiated in EDB's initial view, will inform the teacher concerned of our view and invite him or her to submit written representations within reasonable time. For a case that may involve cancellation, we will inform the teacher concerned of possible cancellation and invite him or her to submit representation within 14 days with full understanding of the severity of the case. During the process, the EDB will fully consider all the concrete evidence collected, analyze it thoroughly from a professional perspective at different channels. The teacher concerned has full and fair responsibilities, opportunities for making representations and self-defense, including submission of representation with knowledge of possible cancellation, and ensure the teacher concerned is treated fairly and impartially. Should the teachers be not satisfied with the decision of the cancellation of his or her registration, he or she may appeal to the appeals board panel within 21 days. The Education Commission set up the Working Group on Promoting and Upholding Teachers' Professional Conduct in 2013 to conduct a review on EDB investigation mechanism for handling cases of misconduct involving educators. In its review report issued in 2015, the Working Group affirmed that the existing mechanism has been operating effectively and is satisfied with the mechanism under which the EDB is playing the monitoring role. 3. Teachers in schools should perform their respective roles and strive to provide quality education for students. The school management has the responsibility to supervise the conduct of teachers and monitor the content of school-based curriculum and ensure it's in compliance with the curriculum guide, helping students to acquire correct knowledge and concept and helping to develop positive values and attitudes. Teachers with their professional knowledge and judgment should achieve these goals through classroom teaching. In the present case, information showed that the management failed to effectively monitor the content of the school-based curriculum, including allowing the dissemination of the messages of Hong Kong independence in class, and thus be held responsible for their dereliction of duty. As for other teachers teaching the topic, they should exercise their professional judgment and report to the judgment when they found problems with the lesson plan, teachers, and worksheet so that remedial action could be taken. However, teachers could not take any professional fault action, hence should also be held responsible. In short, the principal, vice principal, and other teachers involved in the case should be respectfully held responsible. The term collective punishment or implication is severely misleading and incorrect. Mr. Yip, President. This reply is a huge letdown. It failed to provide anything, no figures or information as requested. A rather hollow reply. And on the issue of collective punishment or implication, I would like to follow up. The Secretary denied that this is any collective punishment or implication. As we know, such practice have been described as tyranny back in Qing Dynasty. It shouldn't happen in a modern society. In the Secretary's main reply, he stated that it isn't either way, but he explained that the other teachers concerned should also exercise professional judgment. If they found that the lesson plan materials and worksheet is problematic, they should raise it to the management and take remedial action. However, there's no professional follow-up, thus be held accountable. Found that they haven't found out they need to discover that or fail to report that we need to be held accountable for our colleagues' action. If this isn't collective punishment, then what is? If this is implications, so what is this? In a modern society, under what circumstances will we resort to this kind of disciplinary action? President, that would snare a lot of innocent people in taking responsibility. Well, Secretary, if EDB manage its manpower internally, and how many of them would need to be disciplined due to the action of the colleagues? Yourself have been disciplined due to lax supervision. Secretary, I'm also very disappointed with Mr. Yip's question, and I state clearly that the teachers in question are not any random teachers. The teachers are responsible to teaching that subject. When they received a possible case, how could they not speak out as professional teachers? When they spot a problem with their teaching materials, should they keep silent? If Mr. Yip sees that what a professional teacher ought to do, it seems that our standards are fall apart. Your standards are just too low. As professional teachers, when they spot a problem with the teaching materials, they should take it up with the management. They should tell the management that there's a problem with it, in which we take remedial action. So how can you link it to Qing Dynasty collective punishment? It was known that back then, for one-body who break the law, the whole family would get in trouble. We're talking about that when, for a teacher, when receiving a problematic teaching materials, he didn't say anything, and Mr. Yip didn't see that as a problem and claimed we shouldn't be held accountable for other people's action. Of course, it's not being accountable for other people's action, that he's being accountable for not speaking up. Well, as the Secretary of Education, I have been held accountable on many occasions. Well, can you describe the implication? It's because there's some implementation flaws on my subordinates. I don't see that that will be what expect of a public appointed official. I need to be held responsible for what happened in EDB. This is not collective punishment or implication. This is just being responsible. Ms. Claudia Mo, which part of the question not answered? How many staff in EDB have been subject to such kind of treatment? You already raised your question. Please sit down. Secretary, any addition? President, I'm not sure what Mr. Yip is asking. We work as a team at the EDB, that we are very cohesive. I believe the education sector is also very cohesive. We're not blaming each other. We just try to make things better. So I'm not able to answer his question.